On the second day of Christmas, the retro nerd gave to me the badass character from all the Street Fighter games. What is up, everybody, and welcome to the second day of 12 days of Street Fighter. Sorry if my voice sounds a little weird. I am a little sick, throat is a little sore. It's fucking cold out here in Arizona. A lot of people just think, oh, people, you live in the desert. Of course it's hot. No, fucking jackasses. You ever think why they tell you not to go out in the fucking desert in Saudi Arabia? Because it gets fucking below freezing cold there. Fucking morons. God. Everybody just assumes we're Arizona, we're hot. It's not the case. It gets cold here. Sometimes it snows. Depends on what part. More than likely the mountains. Anyways, guys. So, second day of 12 days of Street Fighter, we are playing as Ryu. One of my favorites, as always. Everybody already knows that my top favorite is Ken. You know, he's not going to be the last day or anything like that. It's just, since I'm doing my top 12 Street Fighter characters for the 12 days of Christmas, they're not going to be in any certain order or anything like that, because Ryu would be number 2. And if you think about it, if you start on the first day of Christmas, that's technically being like, that's number 12 or some shit like that, whatever. But yeah, so let's go into some Ryu stuff, and let's talk a little bit about Ryu. Okay, so I remember seeing Street Fighter 2 at a grocery store, and just remember like a whole bunch of people around it playing it. Pretty much the same way I saw Mortal Kombat as well. Same grocery store as well. They had Street Fighter, for a couple years, and then all of a sudden they got fucking Mortal Kombat. Anyways, I just remember like all these, teenagers and some kids are standing around watching these two guys play. I remember one of them was Ryu, and I just remember seeing the guy throw a fireball. I'm like, oh my god, that's way different than what I've been playing on the NES and all that stuff. That's a cool fighting game. That guy throws fireballs. And then I remember seeing the fucking Dragon Punch, which is my mind's going blank. It's early in the morning too, 7:24 a.m. This Shoryuken, there we go. Shoryuken Dragon Punch. I remember seeing Ryu do that, and then I'm never going to get this right, but I'm just going to call it the Hurricane Kick, where he spins around with one of his legs out. I remember seeing all those moves, and I was just like, oh my god, that's fucking sweet. That's awesome as hell. And after that, I just remember the name. Alright, Street Fighter 2. I'll look for it, and then it wasn't until like, I think probably like a year later that I actually came to the home consoles or some shit like that, or months later. I can't remember exactly, but I remember that we did end up getting it and owning it, and I played the shit out of Street Fighter. But at first, I could never do the fireballs or anything like that until like one of my cousins taught me how to do it, and then even then it was still hard. It wasn't until like the fucking older days where I was just like button mash. It's like, alright, button mash. And now it's gotten to a point where it looks like button mashing that I'm doing when I'm playing, but it's actually I hold my fingers over certain buttons and I press those buttons. I mean, like, to the untrained eye, it looks like button mashing, but I actually have my fingers mapped out to how I want them and everything like that. So, like I said, button mashing it looks like, but I have actually came up with a certain technique that is pretty much the Hadouken technique, where I always have the joystick or my motion pad, like the D-pad or whatever. I always have it set up to where my fingers are always in the Hadouken configuration, and then I got one with my other thumb on the punch buttons. So I always have it set up for if there's a character that's anything like Ryu in any fighting game, you'll pretty much pull off a Hadouken or like whatever projectile or whatever move he has set for that. But it's always a good beginner thing to have for like just like busting out in every fighting game. To know the Hadouken and everything like that. I mean, the Hadouken button configuration has become so synonymous with all fighting games that if you do that, more than likely you'll do a special move for one of these characters, for whatever character that you're playing in a fighting game. Because there's always a character that's the basic standard, this easy to play character, all around character for everybody, and that's usually the Ryus of the series or the Kins of the series. Because Kin has the same moveset, just his Dragon Punch is different, and he just uses fire pretty much. That's why Kin's a little cooler. I like fire. But yeah, Ryu is another one of those characters, just like Chun-Li, that's been around for pretty much all the Street Fighter games. I don't think he's ever missed one, and he's been a part of Marvel vs. Capcom as well. Always a good character in there. Actually, he's been in all the Marvel vs. games. Besides the Marvel vs. Capcoms, he's been in X-Men vs. Street Fighter and Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter. So he's been in a lot more of them than some of the other characters have. And that's pretty good for him. So yeah, pretty much being the mascot, he's got to be in every game. Most of the time the story usually evolves around him. Like Bison wants to turn Ryu evil or use his power or whatever. So a lot of times the main story of the whole tournament, or whatever the reason why the tournament was put together, is because some evil guy wanted to get the control of Ryu's powers or whatever. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it for Ryu and why I like him, and a little bit of history and stuff like that. But anyways, guys, I've been the Retro Nerd. This has been the second day of 12 Days of Street Fighter. Got more in store. Don't worry, like I said, I'm switching off games back and forth depending on what characters I'm going to be playing as. So you'll get this and some Street Fighter 4. So don't worry. But anyways, guys, I'm the Retro Nerd, and Retro Nerd out.
Final round now. Let's go. Let's go. Well, I got the picture. 7-6. Choose the right ones, get it on. Yeah, I'm ready for it. Select the one to fight. Yeah, I see. Fighters ready. Engage. Into the heat of battle. Go for it. Let's go.
Let's go.